Let's break out a bit of the Gab-O-Meter, shall we, for the weekend. Gab, lots of talk about Chelsea, it seems, amongst a lot of transfers at the moment. Yet, of course, as it stands, they're not allowed to make any transfers this summer. On a scale to 1 to 10, how likely is it that that could be overturned and this summer they could actually take part in the transfer window?
Well, Dan, I've gone high on this. I've given it a 7. I think it is pretty likely that they will be able to sign players in the summer. Just to refresh everyone's memory, obviously they were given this ban by FIFA. They've appealed it. They had their hearing on Thursday. We should get that's right. They had the hearing for the appeal on Thursday. We should find out probably within the next week, 2 weeks, which way that goes. The big thing was that after this, you have one more appeal left, and that's the appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sports. And you would certainly expect the Court of Arbitration of Sports to say, okay, if we consider this appeal, we're obviously going to freeze the punishment until we've considered the appeal, and that would take us past the opening of the transfer window on July 1st. So even if Chelsea do get banned, as things stand and based on precedent, you would expect this to be no sooner than the winter transfer session next year.
Let's talk more about Chelsea, in particular Eden Hazard. This was the front page of Marca last week, saying that Real Madrid and Chelsea close to doing a deal. Just a reminder of what Hazard had to say about Zinedine Zidane. For me, as a supporter of Zidane, I was very happy he came back because football needs Zidane. For Real, it's good. For the Real fans, it's good. For the other teams, it is not so good. So, Hazard to Real Madrid this summer. What's your number, Gab?
I got a 7 on this. Look, it's the vibe coming from Chelsea as well. You know, they'd love to keep him around. They'd love to extend his contract, give him even more money. But it's really not about money with Hazard at this stage. You know, he's been at the club a long time. He's won titles. He's won important trophies. He wants to have another footballing experience, and that is to play for Real Madrid. But before he gets too old. So I think this deal will get done, certainly from the Chelsea end, from the Hazard end, and that's why I'm going to say 7.
Meanwhile, a deal that Real Madrid would love to get done is to get rid of Gareth Bale. You can just see how his form has dipped, really. Certainly this season, just 14 goals, 5 assists. Couple that with extensive injuries over the last few years. As saying yesterday that Real let him go for 130 million euros. That seems a lot. Gab, say that you're his agent. What's a realistic number that they should be aiming for?
Well, I'm sure his agent, Jonathan Barnett, would love to get a number like that and commensurate wages. The reality is, I don't think there's any sane club in the world that would go that high. Could it be some sort of publicity coup in the Gulf or in China? Maybe, but because what you have to consider is the fact that any club that takes him is on the hook for Gareth Bale and his wages for another 3 years. Gareth Bale's wages are absolutely enormous, close to £600,000 a week, if you think in those terms. And it's really hard to justify when you consider his age as well. So to give you a number on this, I think if Real Madrid could get maybe as little as 60, 70 million for him, they'd gift wrap him for you and send him over. But then it's a question of whether Gareth wants to go.
Meanwhile, in the Europa League last week, of course, the standout performance came from Joao Felix. He became the youngest player to score a Europa League hat-trick. You take a look at some of his names here. Of course, you get Alcacer, Harry Kane, Lukaku as well. So much hype and speculation about the future of this youngster. This sort of Portuguese newspapers obviously dominating. Super Felix was pretty much the theme throughout. Meanwhile, Tutto Sport saying that Juve are looking to sign Juve Felix on the horizon. Gab, give us a number on this one. There are so many clubs, aren't there? Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Manchester United, all linked to this youngster.
Yeah, so I've gone with a 4 on this one, a 4 that he will leave in the summer. There's a bunch of things on here. You can go check this guy out on YouTube. He certainly looks pretty incredible. He also looks extremely raw. And I think the feeling among a lot of people is that he'd really benefit from another season playing at a top club to really round himself out. Those numbers, that 120 million or whatever, to me that really seems pie in the sky. And you know what? Those names that you read out about young players who scored Europa League hat tricks. Lukaku, Harry Kane, I'll give you, but the others, Lukaku, Paco Alcácer, are those 120 million type players right now? Maybe not.
Finally, Gab, let's talk about De Ligt. Of course, another 19-year-old. This is what the Ajax coach had to say about his future. There is zero chance that De Ligt will continue at Ajax. There are too many clubs interested in him. He will leave us this summer, but I don't know if he'll go to Bayern or Barcelona. So the question's simple, Gab. Which is the more likely destination for him?
I just find it odd that when you're trying to sell a player, you actually go and you name two of the clubs. And bear in mind, too, Ten Hag, obviously, he doesn't get to decide whether he gets sold or not. He's only the club's manager. The decisions are made elsewhere. I wonder if there isn't a bit of misdirection here. I think there's a very good chance that he does leave the club. But it would seem odd to me, certainly Bayern. They've added Pavard, they've added Lucas Hernandez. They already have, of course, Sule and Boateng and Hummels in the mix. That seems like a bizarre one to me. Barcelona possibly might make more sense, but I think this one's going to run for a while, and I think other clubs are going to come out and get into contention because Ajax have made it very clear that they're willing to sell.
For more, sign up now for ESPN Plus.